just a moment to reflect on this mournful day.
Shots were exchanged with Terra police officers and the suspect, which resulted in one of our officers being killed.
It's such a huge sacrifice when you put that uniform on just to protect your neighbors.
We were in 4 separate cars and I watched my friend get killed.
When we found out it was Rob, then immediately our hearts were just overwhelmed with sorrow.
He is a fine officer who was going towards danger to assist his fellow officers in apprehending a homicide suspect today.
We feel for the department, the family, the brothers, sisters, the parents. We are just one big family.
We're here to support the law enforcement and support Terre Haute PD. I mean, this is our worst nightmare come true.
People are engaging law enforcement and we are losing our lives.
Rob he's a great man, great friend, great classmate, great brother policeman. I mean, to be missed.
It's a scary time that we live in, to know that there's a day that you might come home and you might not be there.
Police officers of this community are amazing. They're second to none. And we just want to stand by them and support them in their time.
My heart goes out to that family of the officer. I mean, it's sad.
He was a man of character and a man of honor, and just made an impact with his service and just the way he lived his life.
Being close to home, knowing Rob all my life, it really hit home.
They're giving their lives for our community, and that's the greatest sacrifice you could give.
You know, we just ask that people say their prayers, hug your loved ones, because you never know when it's your last time.
A moving tribute there from events throughout the week, vigils not only in Terre Haute but also Sullivan, even Rockville. Rockville Park and Vermilion County police officers getting together. Many of them didn't even know Rob, but they wanted to pay their respects and show their gratitude. Rondrell Moore is live in Sullivan at the cemetery as we are waiting for the coach to arrive there. Rondrell?
All right, Patrice, I wanted to take a moment and introduce you to somebody who's very important to this process of saying our final farewell to Officer Rob Pitts. He is Conservation Officer Scott McDaniel, and if you could, I know you're very busy, but if you could just take a couple moments and tell us where things are, what's happening right now.
Okay, well, the procession is about 3 miles from Section Street in Sullivan, so they ought to be here in approximately 10 to 15 minutes on their pace. And so there's last-minute practices taking place. The Advanced Party Honor Guard, many of whom were in participation at the Holman Center, are here. They're getting staged, they're getting ready. So everything is ready to go, and we're ready to receive the procession and park it. So when Rob, the department, and his family get here, we can get him to his place of rest and pay him his final honors.
Absolutely. I know you've noticed this. We've gotten quite a bit of wind, and there is a chance for rain. If that does happen, how will that impact the procedures?
Well, if we have severe weather where people are in danger, we will get them back to their cars. But if we just have rain, the funeral and the procession will continue as scheduled, rain or shine. It's very important that we get this taken care of, because there's a lot of people that have made sacrifices with their time to be here to pay tribute, and we wouldn't want the family to miss out on that. So we will go forward, and if there would be severe weather, we will delay slightly and get people to safety in their vehicles, and then we would go ahead and proceed accordingly.
All right, I have one last question because I know you're very busy, but you mentioned a little bit earlier when we were talking just the outpour of support from the community. How has that been in the Wabash Valley from what you've experienced?
I can tell you the support has been unprecedented. Just to give an example, outside of the marquees and the people that have been outside for movements, the food that was donated by local businesses, churches, and well-wishers and sympathizers for the family and the department has been unbelievable. I expect a huge turnout here from the local community, and once the procession comes in, those that are in town holding up signs, flags, paying tribute would be more than welcome to come in and follow the procession if they choose to do so.
All right, thank you very much, and much appreciated what you've done too. I think we're starting to feel a few of those raindrops that you were talking about.
We're going to be fine.
All right, thank you very much. And again, he mentioned that should it rain or should there be some sort of weather issue, this will still go on. If there is severe weather, they will delay it and they'll make sure that everyone is safe, but it will continue once that severe weather has ended. Again, more activity is starting to happen behind me as they prepare for the funeral party to get here. We're going to camp out and make sure that we're able to stay on top of everything as it happens, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you, Patrice.
Rondrell mentioned about 10 or 15 minutes until the coach arrives there in Sullivan.
And they'll slow down and they'll transition from the motorcycles to, you'll have the flagfold detail, which will actually be touching the coach as they walk in. So it'll be at a walking pace from that point at the entrance of the cemetery all the way to gravesite.
Our meteorologist Kevin Orpert was showing us the radar, and it does look like a big patch of rain is moving in, and sometimes heavy at times.
We hope that doesn't happen, but we have measures in place. I'm sure Scott McDaniel talked about it.
He did.
Phenomenal job of what he does as well, everybody on the team. But we'll get people to safety. We'll probably put them back in their cars, and we have some shelters set up there as well. So hopefully, if it does, it's going to be a quick pass.
Okay. Now, you had mentioned, and also Chief Plassey had mentioned during the funeral, that 27 officers nationally have been killed in the line of duty just this year, and it's only, what, May?
Yes, so more officers have been killed by gunfire this year than auto accidents or auto crashes, which usually does not, they're usually pretty close to even, actually more auto incidents than there are with gunfire. A lot of these are ambush attacks as well, or the officers not being able to react to anything. And just in police work, it's reaction always versus an action. And somebody knows what their intentions are, we don't.
Here is a look at that procession, a live look. So the motorcycles, again, are the beginning of this procession, correct?
Yes. So you can see the gap in there. We talked about that before, and it happens. It's just the nature of driving numerous vehicles when you're talking about close to 500, if not more than 500 vehicles here. You see the gaps in there. Obviously, you can see the danger in that, though, when you start having those big gaps. People are trying to hurry up to catch up because your objective is to stay with the person in front of you. Mm-hmm. That tends to create issues or incidents, and we hope that doesn't happen. We've had them happen before, but we hope it doesn't.
It is my understanding that this is a intersection area of 246 and 41. Really, look at that. There are no cars even on the other side. I saw one go by. Here comes the coach approaching now with Rob inside. And you'll see them maintain their pace. And if you look, you can see the motorcycles, as stated earlier, they'll maintain their distance, their speed from there. That is not an easy thing to do by every stretch of the imagination. You'll see the intersections are blocked. Those that are not blocked, the motorcycles you saw before, the police motorcycles, will block those intersections. You see people alongside the procession route paying their tribute. The American flag there, look at that. That's beautiful. The people with their hands on, look at that little boy. Hand over the heart, little boy right there paying his respects as well. That's great. Cops, I'm telling you, we love, unfortunately under these circumstances, but love to see that. Well, and that comes from mom and dad teaching them that. That's what you do. That's how you show respect. It's called morals, ethics, and values. Those three things, that's what's instilled into all of our kids and instilled all of us. Nobody can take them away. We have to give them away. Yeah, good point. Good point. We will continue to follow that route and watch more of the procession as we can. We are also working to bring you the audio of that end of watch call that was so moving there at the Terre Haute Police Department. Scott, here we are again live. Look at that salute. Yeah, we talked about the 45s earlier. One of the things that a lot of people ask is, why the salute? Where did the salute come from? Obviously, it's an acknowledgement and appreciation, so when the family passes, it's also for superior officers, but it's the best we can tell, it started back in the old days, if you will, the medieval times, where a knight would raise his visor to his opponent to let them see each other's eyes. That also panned into maybe a British version where they would show a superior officer that their hands were not dirty. And then also,
against somebody who you didn't know if they were your enemy or not would show that you had no weapons in your hand. So it's a combination of any of those three. That's my best guess on there, but you're talking way back 1800s, even prior to the 1800s.
And there is a right and a wrong way to do that salute.
There is. So when we talked about the 45s, elbow at a 45, everything
45
is like
degree angle.
45 degree angle. Yeah, I'm sorry, we call it. I'm
That's
using
right.
my police
That's
lingo.
your lingo.
It's the 45. So hand should be at a 45, or a bladed hand is what they call it. Elbow at a 45, and then a 45 degree angle from the deck or the ground.
Even their feet at a 45
Feet
degree
at a
angle.
45 when you're standing at attention. Your other hand, which would be your left hand, down at your side, usually with your thumb running along the side of your trousers.
Now, another flag that we have seen quite a bit today, in addition to the American flag, is the thin blue line flag. You're seeing a picture of that as well. Tell us about the tradition of this.
You'll see a lot, and this is a recent history, mind you. This hasn't been around forever, and I don't even know where it came from, but obviously somebody had invented it, if you will. But it's a knockoff of the American flag, specifically fit for police officers, where you'll see the thin blue line that's going through there. Fire department has one as well. They have a red line going through theirs.
Interesting. Now, we do have Aaliyah Blackburn, who is joining us live. Let's head out to Aaliyah.
Patrice, I'm here along 246 and 41, and right here several people are lined up here to show their respects to Officer Pitts. His coach just rolled by here making that transition home into Sullivan County, and here I'm standing with, could you please state your name and who you're with for me, please?
My name is Joe Stewart. I'm with Perriton Fire Department.
Great, and kind of talk to us a little bit about how does it feel to be standing out here, seeing that coach roll by and paying your respects today?
Very humbling, knowing that Officer Pitts, he paid the ultimate sacrifice for his community and doing his job, and unfortunately this happened. It sets real close to home. Yes, he was a police officer, but as firefighters, EMS, all that, we know the inherited risks of our jobs, and it's something we gladly do. But when something like this happens, it a little tears your heart a little extra. So.
Absolutely, and kind of just talk to us a little bit about when it comes to public safety, it's pretty much like, that camaraderie, that family sense there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a saying out there right now, in this family, no one stands alone. And like I said, from dispatch down to EMS, fire, the police department, all that, we are one big family. We're all out here doing the same job, just different facets of it, protecting our community and making sure that the folks in our communities are safe. So.
Absolutely, and then kind of just talk about, you see the coach roll by, and just what emotions does that bring you? It's kind of just a breathtaking experience in a way.
It is. Unfortunately, this is the third line of duty death that I've been a part of as far as procession. Last one was with Brent Long, which had been a member of our department. I'd actually worked with Brent on the fire department side. So when you see that come through there, you try not to, but you think of the what ifs. What if that something happened to one of our guys or gals, or myself? How would my family react, and would they be taken care of? Things like that. So it's like I said, it's very humbling and just makes you think about things.
Sure. And if you could say anything to the Terre Haute Police Department and the family of Officer Pitts, what would you like to let them know today?
Thank you for what time you allowed us to have with Rob here on this earth. Stay strong. There's going to be, things are going to get better. It's just going to take some time, and God bless him for what he did.
Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. And like we talked about earlier, it's just seeing that coach roll by. It's something I can't even put into words. As a journalist, I haven't been doing this very long, but this is something I never in a million years would dream I would be here witnessing. And it's a beautiful experience to see all of this camaraderie and to see all of these people here coming together for Officer Pitts, his family, and the Terre Haute Police Department. I'm proud to be here today. So Patrice, I'm going to throw it back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Aaliyah.